Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody watching. This is Maj and Nick here, and today I'm going to be talking about the worst item in all of Fishing Simulator. Just for a little clarification, I consider any item to be something like rods, boats, backpacks, spears, and axes, things of those sorts. So pretty much all the equipment that we use every time that we play this game, that's what an item is. And there are so many items in this game, but there is one in particular that I'm thinking of that I think is by far the worst. Now you may be thinking the worst item is probably going to be something like the rowboat, which is such a terrible boat that nobody wants. And yeah, while you'd be right that the rowboat is really bad, I don't think this is anywhere close to the worst because you get it in like the beginning of the game. It's 2,400 coins. You barely have to work for this thing. Another item you might be thinking of is maybe the guard spear because it's complete and utter garbage. It does 40 damage, but again, for the same reason as the rowboat, it costs only 1,200 coins. You're getting this in the beginning of the game. It's basically no time investment into getting this. And again, same reasoning for something like just a regular old backpack. Super easy to get. It is bad. It barely holds anything inside of it with a backpack space of 24. But again, you can get this probably in your first 20 minutes of playing the game. It's super easy. The item that I'm thinking of is actually quite hard to get. It requires a big time investment. You will have to fish for literally hours and hours and hours just to be able to get this thing. And guess what? Barely anybody has this item. It is actually quite uncommon and you barely see it. That's because it's also trash as well. Quite a few people have worked so hard to get this item, myself included, and nobody uses it. But before I reveal what this item actually is, I'm going to give an honorable mention to one other item in this game that I was considering to be one of the worst. And that is going to be from the Shadow Isles Index reward, the Explosive Spear. Guys, this spear is so garbage. It's honestly quite hard to get because it is an index item. But when you actually take a look at the stats, it does 450 damage, definitely on the lower side for a weapon. And then the specialty is just explosion. But guess what? You'd think the explosion would damage nearby enemies. It doesn't. It actually just pushes them away a little bit. And you guys are probably familiar with trying to complete indexes in this game. They're not a simple task. They take quite some time to do. So you mean to tell me a player should grind their butt off to try and complete this index for a spear that they're probably never going to use and only looks cool aesthetically? Here is the spear. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It is an explosive spear, so it has like that bomb TNT theme going on. And when I actually throw it, it explodes. And let me actually turn on my Roblox audio so you can hear this. It's kind of a cool spear to mess around with. I do like its design, and I think the explosive specialty is cool, but it's definitely not useful really in any way because there are spears and axes in this game that just far outclass this weapon. Something like the Jaded Crystal, which I talked about in my previous video. It costs 25,000 gems, and it does 1,000 damage and has the specialty of double loot and double XP. This is an amazing weapon, and if you guys want to get something like this and you're not really sure how to get that many gems, you can go ahead and watch my gems guide that I created quite a long time ago. It still applies to today. All the methods that I talked about in that video is exactly what I do nowadays to be able to farm up gems. So don't forget to check that out if you need any help. But I think it's time to do the big reveal. What is the worst item in all of Fishing Simulator history? And my reasoning behind it, it is going to be the Obsidian Backpack. My goodness, do I have some things to say about this trash garbage item. So let's actually take a look at what this item does and its backpack space. Checking out its description, all it does is just give you a backpack space of 550. While 550 space is not that bad, it doesn't give any other abilities like how the gliders give, where you could literally fly with something like this, and it also has nearly double the amount of backpack space, which is insane. But you might be thinking, you know, 550, that's a pretty good backpack. Why am I saying that this is the worst item in the entire game? Well, it's not the backpack space that necessarily bothers me. It's just how hard this item really is to get. And the difficulty of obtaining this really doesn't justify a backpack space of 550. And I really think that this item deserves like a specialty or something, because it's just such a grind to get and it's quite bad for what you receive. So how do you actually get this item? Well, if you paid attention in the beginning of the video, I started off on Eruption Island, and that was me kind of foreshadowing. That's because this is obtained through the Eruption Island Index. And you might be thinking, well, why did I rank the backpack a lot worse than something like the Explosive Spear from the Shadow Isles Index? Pay attention to the index. You see that for the Explosive Spear, you need 180 variations after you get the mutation boost. But if we go over to Eruption Island, that number bumps up all the way to 225, which is way more, and it'll take you so much more time to complete. But guess what? It gets a lot worse. Let me go over to Eruption Island to explain it better to you guys. So for the Eruption Island Index, there's not one, there's not two, but yes, there are 3 different spots that you need to fish in order to complete the index. The first area is going to be just around the island. Anywhere in the water surrounding Eruption Island, you're going to be able to catch the first bunch of fish that you need. And then moving on to the second area, you're going to need to go inside the volcano, which you need to fish inside of this lava actually to get all the magma fish. Now, what makes this especially painful is that you cannot use any regular rod in here. You can't use Key to the City rod. You can't use Cephalo rod. You can't use something like Ancient Sword rod, or really any of the good rods in this game that helps you get good fish. You absolutely need to use the lava rod. This is one of 2 rods in the entire game that allows you to fish inside this lava. And look at these garbage stats: 5 reeling speed and 5 hook speed. This is good for when like you're level 10, when you just unlock the island, but this is definitely not good for trying to complete the index. And there's this other rod called the Molten Inferno rod, which you get from the Wandering Merchant, and this costs 120 gems, so it's not too expensive. You can get this in just 2 weeks of grinding, but that's if the developers actually put this in the Wandering Merchant, because it does not show up that much. It's honestly one of the more rare items that somewhat show up every now and then. And taking a look at the stats, it has 10 reeling speed, 30 rarity, 5 strength, and 5 hook speed. This is not a bad rod by any means, but it has no mutation chance, it has no baby and huge chance, which are the 2 most important things for completing the index. This rod has none of it, and this is your best chance at completing all of the lava fish. So good luck trying to get all the fish for this lava section if you don't have the Molten Inferno rod and you're stuck with just that beginner lava rod. And also there is the special fishing area for this island, which you can only fish in there for 1 hour at a time. You can see it off in the distance in that cave. I'm not going to do the quest right now. Thankfully, you can use a regular rod inside of there. You don't need any of the lava rods, which does make it easier. But again, the special fishing areas are what's pretty much the hardest for every single index, because you have a limited amount of time and you have to do the quest to be able to unlock those areas. Now, just comparing this index to what I believe to be the second hardest island index in the game, because keep in mind, I'm not considering stuff like the Dolphin's Chariot or the Celestial Starship. I'm just talking about regular islands. The Pharaoh's Dunes index, this is the second longest index in the game. Again, excluding the other ones I just mentioned. You have to catch 210 variations, but what makes this significantly better than the Eruption Island index is that you get the UFO boat, which is an amazing boat for not only fishing but also hunting. It also destroys Moby too, but the fish that you need to get, you can use just a regular rod for any of the areas. There are 3 areas that you need to fish in, but you can use the Key to the City rod or the Cephalo rod or any of your best rods to be able to get those fish. And even if this is a pain in the butt to complete, you're getting one of the best boats in the game, so it's a good trade-off. Versus with Eruption Island, you're putting in all this hard work for such a garbage item that you're never going to use. So let's do a little bit of comparison just to see how bad this backpack truly is. So taking a look at the summer backpack that is available right now to buy in the game, Quick correction, these items are actually no longer available literally an hour after I've recorded this video, so that's really unfortunate and sad, but I just wanted to add this in here just so you guys aren't trying to look for it and wondering where it actually is. It costs 4,500 gems, which is not that bad. You can get that in a few hours of playing the game, maybe a little bit more if you're on the slower side for grinding. And look at the backpack space, 650. This beats the Obsidian backpack by 100 space, and guess what? You don't have to fish for a decade to be able to get it. You don't have to grind hours, countless nights, and trying to use all your bait and time and energy to be able to get this. You can just farm for some gems for a few hours, and boom, you have a backpack that is more effective than the one that's super hard to get. Or here's another good example. This is another backpack that you can buy right now for the summer event. It has 550 space, so the exact same amount of space as the Obsidian backpack, and it's only 3,500 gems. Now, let's say you're too lazy and you don't even want to farm up these gems, which is really not hard to do anyways. You can spend just a few hundred Robux, $5 worth, and then you can just buy this backpack that's better than one of the hardest items to obtain in the entire game. I think I've gotten my point across by now. The Obsidian backpack is just complete and utter garbage. There's no reason why you should ever be using this when there's just so many better options to go for that are so much easier to get. Before I end off this video, I will say one upside to this backpack. I mean, it looks cool. That's really all it has going for it. I like the neon glowing effect on it. I think it looks nice, but that's about it. That's the only upside that this backpack has going, is just that it looks pretty nice, which does not justify trying to go for it unless you're trying to complete the entire index and get Dolphin's Chariot. Then yeah, you need to get this. But if that's not one of your goals in this game, then definitely don't go for this, because there's literally no point and you're just wasting your time. But that about wraps up today's video. If you found this interesting or helpful in any way, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because it really does help me out a lot, and I do appreciate it whenever you guys show support. And leave a comment down below. Have you gotten this Obsidian backpack yet, or do you ever plan on getting it? And if so, why? What's your reasoning? Do you plan on completing the entire index, or do you want it just as a part of your collection? But thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Should I still fly out? Can you make your mind?